Hello and welcome everybody to another episode of Shonen and Chill, hosted as always by me and Zenrotto. Hi, my guy.
Hey, what's going on?
Nothing much, just talking about kids' cartoons, as I do every Sunday.
As one does.
Yeah, without too much willy-wallowing, let's get right into it. What do we think this week?
Okay, so are we by this do we mean number one chapter of the week or do we mean just
Well, that's
general
like
magazine thoughts?
go for whatever you feel like, man. You're
Okay, I
young.
think I'm gonna say my chapter of the week was Chainsaw Man again.
Hmm,
It's been
nice.
killing it lately. I've been a big fan. I don't know, the ending was like she gave me chills, man, when it's just him
Hmm.
sitting in the graveyard
Hmm.
and he asks her this like nondescript question that just calls back to that one time they were having fun together.
Hmm.
And then he was like, "Well, I guess I gotta kill you." And then it's just a showdown with her and her goons versus him in the graveyard. I don't know. I want it. I need next week really bad.
Yeah, no, I thought it was great. I think Chainsaw Man, as weird as it may sound to say if someone isn't super familiar with it, Chainsaw Man really shines when it just gives the characters space to just kind of talk about things. Denji's whole monologue this chapter was so good. Like just getting to know him a bit better and understanding what he's going through right now is just so interesting. Like we get to see him kind of building himself back up while watching TV broadcasts, and also struggling with the fact that hey, the person who has kind of the least to my life at this point in time kind of fucked me over, and now I have to kill her, but I still kind of like her. That stuff is just so cool, and of course, as you said, the final scene at the graveyard is oof, oof. I love Chainsaw Man's evocative imagery. There's like that one panel when they're in hell with like the astronauts like cut in half and praying.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, that shit's so good, and this chapter delivered some shit like that as well. And of course, as you said, the final page where like the goons coming towards him and you see his chainsaw revving up.
Yep.
Like, oh man,
It's so good.
so good,
And the
so
chainsaw
good.
like cuts off right at the end of the panel.
Mhm.
So
And the
good.
sound effect of the chainsaw whirring up,
Mm-hmm.
like
Across the top.
the yeah, oh, it's
Yeah,
so
it's
good.
great.
Yeah, and it's just so. I just think Chainsaw Man is so great at creating these situations that, just from a visual perspective, are so interesting. Like this nondescript graveyard in like urban Japan, where it's just like hills with crosses on them. Like I
Yeah, it's
cannot
just a
wait what.
giant field of crosses.
Yeah, I cannot wait what Fujimoto does with that, because I think we might be getting some more like spicy panels here.
Yeah, the next couple weeks are going to be really good. I've saw some stuff online that apparently is hinting toward that this is in fact the end.
Hmm.
Um, so that's interesting. So I guess it's gonna. I don't know that it's 100% confirmed yet or not that it is, but
Hmm.
people were on the subreddit for this were linking tweets from the
Hmm.
editor who was like, "Chainsaw Man final stuff." I don't know. I don't know.
Hmm.
I don't remember it. I read it yesterday at like 3 in the morning. But
Anime stuff, I guess.
yeah. So it's interesting that we might be coming up to the end. So
Hmm.
maybe the power thing doesn't actually get a resolution, or maybe it just kind of gets glossed, and we just get a little like he did it. I don't know, because Chainsaw Man doesn't necessarily strike me like something that lends itself to like, and they all lived happily ever after. So
Mm.
we'll see what happens.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the thing with like ending confirmations with stuff like that is always very tricky because, and don't quote me on this, I don't speak Japanese, but from my limited understanding of it, um, it seems that in promotional material, they use the same word for ending as they do for climax. And that
Mm.
ambiguity tends to fuck people over, because then they say, oh, it's reaching a climax, but people translate it's reaching an ending, which then gets, interpreted as the ending. So I guess we'll just have to see. But I mean, it definitely could end here. I feel like I've been saying it ever since we started this podcast. Chainsaw Man could end next chapter, and I would probably accept it, because, like, it's Chainsaw Man. It's impossible to really predict what is going to happen. Like, I want to see this like big brawl now with Makima and her goons, but at the same time, I'm almost wondering if it will like cut away to something completely different, or if the brawl will be like interrupted by God knows what, you know?
Yeah, there's no way to tell. And I think that's what makes it so exciting week by week is like with other series in the magazine, even with Jujutsu Kaisen, you can be like, all right, next week will be this. And this is the thing that's
Yeah.
going to happen. And then it happens. You're like, oh, that was the thing I was looking forward to. It was pretty good. But with
Mhm.
Chainsaw Man, at any point, something can happen. And I'd be like, oh, okay, here we are now.
Yeah.
This is what we're doing now.
It's oh my God, like I like the thing that just keeps taking me out whenever I like think about what Chainsaw Man is right now. The, the chapter where he kills Aki is I think still in like the same volume or like just barely in the volume before this. Like
Which is crazy
fifth,
because it feels like it was 3 years ago.
yeah, 20 chapters ago, we hadn't even seen the Gun Devil yet. Like that's how fucking crazy this ride has been. It's so insane. Like in the meantime, you have like My Hero or Jujutsu Kaisen, where we've been in the same arc for like a year, pretty much, and then you have Chainsaw, Man, which is like, oh yeah, by the way, like 5 chapters ago, the world was completely different.
Mm-hmm. Like, a month ago, everything was completely different from where it was.
Oh my God, dude, we were like at Burger King like
Yep,
two
the
months
Burger
ago.
King chapter. And now we're here in a graveyard having the final
Oh,
showdown.
I saw someone animate Kobani playing Dance Dance
I
Revolution the
saw
other
that.
day.
It
So good.
was great.
Oh my God. No, Chainsaw Man definitely is hitting it out of the park week after week. Like, it makes me really excited to check out Fujimoto's other work, Fire Punch, which that as well has. Have you read it?
I have not read it. I've been meaning to,
Oh,
but I have not yet.
do you know the premise?
Mm-mm.
Because I think it's something like a guy wakes up with the power to like regenerate limbs, and his immediate response to it is ending world hunger by feeding everyone his flesh.
Oh,
Something like that. And then also he catches fire at some point, I think. So it's like that could be interesting.
there you go. Just found this.
They fit so well together.
Uh,
Uh, uh, okay, so that was your number one then. Do we have a number two?
Number two, it might be Build King. I
Oh,
really liked the pilot chapter of Build King.
okay.
I'm glad that they are not just continuing the one shot. It's kind of like redefining it a little bit.
Hmm.
Um, I really liked it. I really liked Toriko. It was really good. The whole thing was great. This has a lot of Toriko feel to it. It feels almost like Toriko mixed with Journey to the West. The main character has a lot
Hmm.
of Sun Wukong vibes to him, both in appearance and
Hmm.
his weapon and stuff. Um,
Hmm.
it's got like an old school feel to it though. Like, did you read Bill King?
No, I have not.
So there's a
As in,
section in it. I
I
mean, the
mean,
chapter this week, not the one shot.
no, no. I've read the chapter this week. I haven't read the one shot.
Okay. So when the main character decides that he's ready to go and fight,
Hmm.
he uses like 2 pages to show him just moving and getting there.
Yeah,
And I was like, that has such like an old school feel to it. That
yeah.
nowadays that like you don't see that anymore, you know? It is, let's
Hmm.
see, 1, 2, 3, 4. It is 4 pages from when he
Hmm.
starts traveling to when he gets there. And it's
Hmm.
all like showing his powers and it gives you insight to how strong he is and like it's great. I love that kind of shit.
Yeah, it's like I think the best way to describe this first chapter for me would be bouncy. Like it feels like it feels like seeing Kid Goku for the first time, just kind of running around, being lovable and just chilling. Um, and of course that goes back to the whole Sun Wukong connection as well. Um, and one thing that kind of struck me about Build King was how similar its premise is to Dragon Quest Builders of all things. Have you played that?
I have not.
because it's the exact same premise, pretty much.
That's awesome.
It's yeah, it's like there it's more like, oh, building is cool, but there's like this evil cult that stops you from doing it. Whereas here it's like building is cool, but there's these monsters that stop you from doing it, but it's kind of the similar thing. It's like that already really struck me because I love that game. So I was immediately into it. The one thing that kind of caught me off guard is how wordy it is. Like I went back to Toriko a bit, and I didn't get the feeling that there was as much like text in Toriko as there was in this first chapter of Build King.
Toriko can be. It kind of depends on the chapters.
Mm. Yeah, but I don't know. I just opened like a random chapter and I was like, oh, okay, I can see pages. Meanwhile, in Build King this week, there were a couple where I was like, oh, calm down. I
Yeah,
thought I
there
passed my
are a
literature
few,
class.
especially in the flashback portions of
Yeah,
it.
yeah. Which I mean, I don't know. I don't quite know how they like divide pages up for this because obviously as a pilot it had the luxury of being as long as 3 chapters because it's like 60 pages.
It's exactly
Um,
61 pages.
uh, well, go me. But yeah, it's weird. Like that's the one thing that stuck out to me, like potentially negatively if it goes on. But for the rest, I really liked it. I like seeing like this Toriko-esque thing back again because of course Toriko is awesome. Um, and I think just like with Toriko, the world seems to be a big star. Like the monster designs and just the wacky like nature of the world with all like crazy to build kings and whatnot. I think if it's given time and space to breathe, that could become a huge selling point for the series.
Yeah, so it's interesting with Shima because in Toriko, it didn't really have any sort of like, I'm going to be the food gatherer king of greatest foodness. Like
Mm-hmm.
Toriko's thing was always just food is something that people need and it makes people happy. So that's why we go and we get it. And
Mm-hmm.
then in this, it's very similar where it's like shelter is another necessary thing for people to live. And so we
Mm-hmm.
make it for them because it's important to have it. There's no like, they say they want to go, like in Build King, they want to go find the Build Kings. And then in Toriko, they wanted to find the ultimate food, like the god food and stuff. But like the
Mm-hmm.
world itself was always just about like, this is something that people need. And part of our job is to supply this to them.
Yeah.
And I always like that. I like that Build King is going the same direction, where it's like, yeah, building houses and the Build Kings and stuff are like a big part of the plot, but ultimately it's so important just because people need houses to live in. And so you
Yeah.
make them houses that can protect them because it's important to have a place where you feel safe.
Yeah, that's actually one thing that's always stuck out to me with Toriko is that when you look at a lot of media and fiction in general, really, you'll realize that a lot of it is focused on either killing or loving. Like that's kind of it. It's all, oh, I must kill and beat this guy, or oh, I must go and conquer this love of my life and whatnot, which is like fine. Those are things we've done in our as humans in our past, but then you get to things like eating or shelter, which have a very small representation in our texts. So to see it come from the same author, um, two texts that basically focus on these not super represented aspects of what we do as humans is interesting. Like it's a big part of why I also like Toriko, that it focused on something that was so rare to see as the focal point of a story, but was nonetheless so important to us as people because it's literally what keeps us alive, food. And now I'm getting, as you said, I'm getting the same feeling here. It's like shelter, and perhaps later on it might turn into like creative expression through the building process. Yeah, it could be very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, we've already got a nice Toriko and Komatsu vibe going with
Mm-hmm.
the less physically able brother who's the really good builder, and then the physically able brother who isn't. Although
Mm-hmm.
I do like with Toriko, his power was always kind of like he's like a hunter from Hunter x Hunter, basically. Like he has to go out and fight all these things, so of course he's really strong.
Yeah.
Whereas the main character here, I like him because he just got really strong because he wasn't very good at building houses. So he never really figured out how to do it. So his alternative answer to that was to be so strong that it didn't matter, and he could keep everybody else safe while they did it.
Yeah, yeah.
Which I liked that. I don't know. I always like a main character who doesn't quite fit with where he's supposed to be. So he's just finding creative ways around that fact.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I also think it's kind of cool, and this is like a super small thing no one will care about besides me, but I really like how the series is called Build King, but our characters are not necessarily trying to be the Build King. It's not like, I'm going to be the building Hokage. It's more like the places they want to visit and find are the Build Kings.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, I just feel like that's kind of cool. Like,
Yeah, I like that. Again, I like any series that doesn't want to become the Hokage. That's like my least favorite motivational trope. Is like, I want to be the bestest of this thing. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. Oh man, Kishimoto just like feeling another vertebrae in his back like ache every Sunday, man.
Every Sunday. I mean, yeah. It's the same for Oda too, though. Like, it's why I don't care about One Piece, is because like I don't care about Luffy's goal. And like, I'm not saying you're wrong if you do. I'm just saying I don't. So it's why I like Ichigo so much more than Naruto or Luffy, because like I want to be the president. It's just not interesting to me. I know that they have other motive. Well, Naruto specifically has main other motivations for wanting it, but I want to be the president, so everyone has to be nice to me is not super interesting to me either.
Yeah, that's fair. But actually, now as you mentioned Ichigo, I'm actually like 4 volumes into Bleach now.
All right, look at you go.
Yeah, I'm like reading more than 2 series.
Oh my god, your world's opening up, man. This show
I
has
know.
changed you.
I know. Also, Ichigo, top 1 big 3 protagonist.
Absolutely.
Already.
Yep. 100%.
Like, I don't know where he ends up going, but right now I already like him more than I like Naruto at this point in the story, and definitely more than I like Luffy now. So
yeah, Ichigo, absolute king. Absolute king.
I suppose it's like this is like the equivalent exchange thing. I brainwash you into liking MHA on this podcast, and you brainwash me into liking Bleach.
See, yeah, you have to, wherever you gain, you have to give up something in return.
Exactly. Okay, do you have a number 3?
A number 3, I guess, would be My Hero Academia. Nothing else really jumps out at me super hard this week. Jujutsu Kaisen was obviously on break, so it was like a joke chapter. And to be fair, I thought the joke chapter was pretty cute. It had a lot of stuff in it that I liked. It had the line from Gojo where Yuji's like, "Oh my god, are you bad at singing? Is that your weakness?" And Gojo says, "Nope, my official profile says that just beside my personality, I am perfect in every way. I am an amazing singer," which I thought was hilarious. And I really love the last page of it being the 3 of them in the pose that he takes at the end of the credits. I thought that was cute. My Hero probably had the most interesting stuff in it, just because we see a little bit more of, obviously we see the backstory. We see that Endeavor was actually like kind of into it with Little Toya, where they were kind of like, hey, we're buddying around, sort of. That was cool. And then, Endeavor being kind of frozen and not able to fight Toya while Shoto's trying to do something. I also liked that Dabi was just World Star recording Twice's murder instead of helping him. He just had his cell phone out, like everyone on Twitter always complains about. Just like, here, look into this cell phone.
Yeah.
And also, Best Jeanist is back for some reason, which fine. Okay.
Yeah. Can you imagine, like, the last words Twice heard in his life were probably World Star.
He gets the feather through the skull and he's bleeding out, and he just hears World Star.
World Star. But yeah, I really love this chapter. I think any chapter that makes the Todoroki situation more complicated is my shit. Like, absolutely. And seeing that Endeavor was not a piece of shit from the beginning, and that Rei seemingly was not forced, at least, as far as Toya and Fumi are concerned, it just makes everything so much more difficult. And I love that, because I love seeing like familial dynamics being portrayed as more than just these people are bad, these people are good, bad things happen to the good people, and now the bad people are gonna pay. Where it's like, no, like there's a lot of like interpersonal dynamics going on, and people make mistakes, and some people are bad sometimes and good other times, and it's like, well, who do we judge now? And it's like, I don't fucking know. It's it's almost like trying to evaluate real situations like that,
And it's
kind
weird
of. But
because the last chapter implied that like his hair was going white because Endeavor was beating the absolute shit out of him all the time or something.
mhm.
But in this chapter, he's like, "Hey, buddy, what's going on with the white in your hair? That's weird." And he's like, "Huh? No way. Anyway, let's fight today." And it's like,
Yeah,
what's going on? Like,
yeah, I am. Uh, I'm kind of suspecting the white hair is like there to symbolize his weakness to his own flames starting, because it's like his mother's genes or whatever. And if it's that, that's kind of lame. Not gonna lie. But
yeah, I kind of am getting that too because obviously the first panel we see it is where he's like doubled over in pain, and the immediate thought is like, oh my god, Endeavor kicked the shit out of that kid in training, and he's like fucked up by it. But it might just be that he's still there after Endeavor left in pain from burning himself,
yeah,
and it's just his mom's like power coming out. And then he said that and like you said, where he finds out that the reason they had more kids was not Endeavor being like, "You're making me more babies until one comes out right," because he was just fine with Toya, and it
yeah.
turns out that Ray was the one saying we should have more kids.
Mhm.
And so I don't know, man. It's getting weird.
It's getting weird, but as I said, I really like it. I think this is the sort of dynamic that deserves, having all of its perspectives shown. I definitely think once we get Ray's perspective, a lot of shit will be cleared up, whenever that might be. Because obviously she's like the big angle we have not seen yet, because we've seen now with this chapter, obviously this chapter was from Endeavor's perspective. We've seen his perspective. We've heard of Toya's perspective, although not seen too much. We've seen Shoto's. We've heard Natsuo's. So the only people missing are the women, basically.
Right.
Um, with Ray, of course, being, I don't know if you could call her like the most direct victim, especially not now that Toya is here, but definitely like one of the more even affected. That's not the right word. Like, I don't know, Ray's missing. That's the big piece that we're missing, I think. Um, but I think it could still be like the color change could still be from the stress, because there is like this big time gap between when Shoto is born and when Toya dies, because Shoto is born when Toya is like 10 or like 9, and Toya dies at like 15 more or less, because he has to die after Ray is put into the hospital. So I think in that time frame the stress might have gotten to him more, because obviously he seemed like he wanted to impress his dad or whatnot. And then if Endeavor, turns to Shoto and is like, "Oh, I have no time for Toya. You're worthless now because I'm bad now," or whatnot, that he might have pushed himself more, whatever. Because I mean, that's the other thing. Toya burned in an incident where he was trying to push himself, but that's after Endeavor had already like given up on him, pretty much.
Right.
So actually, what I'm wondering right now is, did Toya die, or quote unquote die, while he was trying to use the prominence burn, to impress his dad and gain his favor back? Because the fact that both of those things like appeared in the same chapter, I don't know, kind of made me make that dot connection, I guess.
Yeah, maybe. Like, or he also may have just been like suicide bombing Endeavor there. Very possible.
Oh man, but that panel where he's like falling down while using the flash fire fist, oh, I need that to be like a full panel in the volume release. Not gonna lie.
Now, how close to this fight are Deku and Bakugo physically?
Physically, quite close, no? Because I thought
Well,
Shoto had grabbed like all of them basically.
but I thought that Ida had Bakugo and was running
Oh,
away with
right.
him.
Right, Ida has Baku, but I don't think they're all that far away. Because Bakugo definitely got like shocked when he saw Dabi approaching with the prominence burn. So they're
Right,
probably
because
in
that's why I was
blast
asking,
range.
because it shows both of them.
Yeah.
But I don't see why Ida sprinting away from there would not have been far enough away to get out of that. So I don't know if he's just supposed to be visibly concerned about Todoroki or what's going on.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe Ida didn't actually run away that much. I mean, wouldn't be the first time that Ida is useless and doesn't do what he's
That's
supposed to,
very
but
true. But I do like that Endeavor was the one who was completely unable to move, and Shoto was the one who said that you just need to leave and I'll fight him instead. And
Mhm.
I like the take chargeness, even though you could see that he was like in tears, he was still gonna fight him. And
Mhm.
then Best Genius shows up and jumps out of an airplane.
That's like the one part that really bothers me about this chapter, not gonna lie, because what I'm worried about now is that Best Genius being there is gonna be like this heroic moment, and like Toya's claim to legitimacy in the public eye is going to be like affected by this.
That I think is the intention, because he specifically said, "Yeah, Hawks sucks. He killed my friend, and if you don't think that's bad, he also killed Best Jeanist. But now there's Best Jeanist."
Yeah, like
I think that's the point, is that they're gonna make it. I'm telling you, dude, we're getting a chapter after this that is just them going back to school, and in the background, there's like some people believe the burned man, and some people don't,
mhm,
and then we're not gonna, because there's too much like right now. Even with
mhm.
Dabi's like reveal and his, exposing them on the internet and whatnot, there's just too much going on, because they even make a point of the one kid, the Endeavor fan, being like, it's just too much. Like, I didn't want to lose faith, blah, 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 but I think this is just too much now that
Mhm.
you can't still have faith in heroes anymore. But then, bam, Best Jeanist, the one
Yeah,
guy who could have potentially refuted any of that stuff, shows up.
yeah. Like the one thing that's giving me hope is the fact that Darby has continuously said that he A doesn't trust Hawks and B doesn't care if he actually killed Genist as long as he killed somebody. So what I'm hoping now, and I said this maybe a couple of weeks ago when we first got like our tease that Genist might be alive. What I hope is now that he, I don't know, hacks back into TV to do like an update and basically is like, yeah, so Genus is alive, but you know what that means, right? Hawks killed someone, one of you probably, to cover up for his hero buddy, which is, I mean, not great either. Hint, hint. That I'm either that or something else. I just don't want Dobby to be blindsided by this because otherwise that'll feel kind of cheap. Like it kind of takes away from him.
Yeah, I don't know,
Not gonna
because I
lie.
mean, when is he going to get the time to get away to do that? I mean, he's fighting right now. He
Yeah.
leapt off of the only safe spot he was on, and now not only does Best Jeanist have him, I mean, I'm sure he can burn away from Best Jeanist, but like Shoto's right there and was ready to throw hands with him.
Hmm.
Uh, Flying Girl, whose name I don't remember because she's been on one page since before this arc, is also there. Nejire
Yeah.
or whatever. What's her
Yeah.
name?
Nejire.
Nejire, yeah. She's there. He's not in a good position anymore from where he was
Hmm.
earlier when he first started this. So I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
I keep thinking this thing
Yeah.
has to be pretty close to done, and then they're like, "Hey, here's more shit going on." So
Yeah. I don't know. I just want Dobby to have planned ahead for this because otherwise this will like completely deflate his claim to, big villain status.
I
I
don't know that I think Dabi will, pull an Eisen here and be like, "Aha, but you have fallen into my plan." But I think even with Best Genus coming back, the damage is done, more or
mhm.
less. Like, I don't think Best Genus showing up will make everyone go, "Oh, okay, whew, okay." The rest of it's obviously fake. Even the
Yeah.
video footage of him shoving a sword into that dude's face is obviously fake. Like, I think there will be repercussions regardless, but maybe just
Mhm.
not an immediate, like, "Oh, well, heroes are shit now." It'll just
Yeah,
be
yeah.
a slower burn.
Yeah. I just I'm just my brain's just racing about like possibilities for Dobby to turn it around for himself cuz oh my god, he's just my man. I've been saying it for weeks,
I,
but it's
I, I don't
him, you
think
know.
any villain goes down here. Like, I think Dabi gets away. I think they all get away.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't think that they win this
Mhm.
necessarily. And I don't
Mhm.
think that it all goes back to the status quo either.
Yeah. One thing though well, two things I want to mention actually. The first thing is the moment when it clicked in my brain that the reason Endeavor was like calling together fire users to his agency was because he hoped that he would find Toya among them because he was still under the impression that he might be alive. That shit fucking hurt. Like that implication is so cool. Even if it's like relatively low key, including that in this chapter was such a nice touch. I really love that. Like his entire thing where he's like, "Oh, I still believed you might be alive." And the fact that Dobby also mentions, "Yeah, haha, you were out here chilling around with so many fire users. What the fuck was that about?" Like the fact that those two things are brought up together and make this sort of weird implied connection, I think that's super cool. That's the kind of like detailed tidbits I really love in Horikoshi's writing whenever he includes them.
Yeah,
Um,
it's interesting. I don't know. It's weird seeing this from what is largely Endeavor's point of view now because it's framed almost entirely positive,
mhm.
which of course we know it's not. So it's setting up that like every single one of them is an unreliable narrator and that they're all
Yeah.
probably not telling the entirety of the truth of the situation.
Mhm.
Um, I don't know. It's good. Also, I want to point out, completely unrelated to this, that Best Jeanist jumps out of an airplane with 3 or 4 giant. It's five giant spools of thread.
Yeah.
I just completely unrelated. I just wanted to point out that that's what he did.
Yeah, no, I really love that actually. I think um Genus Quirk is one of the more underrated ones in My Hero because A, he literally has control over everyone who wears clothes, and B, ever since we've seen in Vigilantes and now in the main series, we know that he can like control these giant fiber cables, which are like, if they hit you, you're kind of dead.
Yeah,
So
he has a very memeable power because he wears a giant pair of jeans. But
yeah,
like, but
the
like his power
denim,
is actually good. Yeah.
the denim demon has appeared.
He literally just looks like a pair of jeans. Like his whole body is just jeans. It's so dumb looking, but
Yeah,
it makes it easy to discount the fact that his power is actually very good.
yeah. Also, he's probably gonna be the number one hero if he comes out of this alive. Because I mean, Endeavor doesn't look like he's going to be able to fight much after this, considering he's missing half a lung. Uh, Hawks is functionally quirkless now since he lost his wings, and I don't think they regrow. So
I
like,
thought they did because didn't they? He burned them all up when Endeavor was fighting the Nomu.
yeah, but I thought that's only if he loses the feathers. But he lost the wing stems this time.
Oh, did he? Okay.
Yeah, that's what Tokoyami says when he says it. He's like, it's all gone. Like there's nothing on his back. It's completely empty, which is like okay. So
Rip,
he got overhauled.
Rip Birdman. Also, was the big reveal really just that? Was the speech bubble thing really just your dad's a serial killer? That was it. Uh oh.
Hey.
There you are.
Yeah, I was about to warn you actually before we started. This machine has another quirk where it randomly loses connections. So yeah, this might happen another few times, but I'll just cut it out in post.
Okay.
Um, where were we?
Do you want me to count us back in so that you have an easy cutting point?
Oh yeah, that'd be actually great.
Okay. 3, 2, 1. So yeah, technical difficulties, people. Apologies. Sorry.
Quick cut.
Anyway, as I was saying, was the blacked out speech bubble reveal really just that Hawks' dad was a serial killer?
I don't know. I wouldn't have thought so though. I don't think that would be the thing that shocks Hawks that much. I don't know. Like that speech bubble is just remaining a thorn in my side because I don't believe it's anything we've heard up until now. I am actually firmly convinced that it has to be something else because otherwise, what the fuck was the point of it? Um, But at the same time, I can't really think of what it might be. Uh, so I guess we'll just have to see what Hawks does when he wakes up. Like,
In 9 months from now.
oh god, yeah. But like, I actually really like that the thing with the thief Takami came back, considering that that was almost a year ago that that name was dropped. I think that that's really cool that you have this sort of continuity. Um, that's just the thing I like with My Hero these days right now. It's like you can predict kind of where things go, but it's satisfying to see them go that route, you
Mm-hmm.
know. Also, speaking of mysteries, did you catch Compress's line where he pretty much turns himself into the next Dabi?
I did not.
Where he says, where he grabs his mask and says, "Oh, another one of a quite the bloodline," which means he's probably
Oh,
talking
see,
about
I thought he
himself.
was just talking about Shigaraki.
Well, I thought so too, but he doesn't know about Shigaraki's bloodline. No one in the league does. No one knows that he's related to Nana, or at least we don't know that they know. So it's probably safe to assume they don't. Which and considering the panel is like, he gets his own panel where he's grasping his mask. Like that's kind of indicative of who might he be?
He is second best genist.
Better genist.
Even better genist.
The stronger denim demon. But yeah, like I'm really interested to see what that happens. I'm like, I mean, it's not super like mysterious. If he is someone important, he's almost definitely the descendant of the last of the big three villains whose descendants we haven't seen, because we have All for One, whose descendant is Shigaraki, or like heir, I guess. We have Destro, whose descendant is Redestro, and then we have Oji Harima, the communist, um, Robin Hood kind of guy, and we haven't seen his heir yet. And basic logic dictates we probably will.
Most likely.
So yeah, so and considering like he's like, oh, this gallant thief who stole from the rich and whatnot. I don't know. That could fit with Compress, I think, considering he's like the showman type kind of guy.
Yeah, it would also make sense how you can easily steal a bunch of shit and move it to a different place if you have a quirk similar to Compress's quirk.
Yeah, that's possible. So I guess we'll have to see, but I'm actually really excited about that. That's something I missed on my first read, but someone tweeted at me, and I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah,
It's
no, that
just
makes
cool
sense.
shit,
I
man.
was very sure he was just talking about Shigaraki just based on the way that the previous panel was laid out when he was sitting right next to him, but that does make sense that he may not be, because you're right, I don't think they ever found out that he was related to a previous One for All person.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think the league even understands One for all that much. Like, I think they know now about All for One and how his shit works, but I don't think they're aware of One for All. Because I mean, even Shigaraki wasn't aware of it until the doctor told him right before, he strapped him to the torture chair for 9 months or however long it was.
Right.
Um, but okay, so do we have any closing thoughts on My Hero?
Not really. It was a good chapter. More things will happen in the future. Part of it is it just keeps throwing like, oh, okay, this thing happened. Uh-oh, this thing got it complicated immediately. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I'm still kind of waiting for a recap chapter, because we're still in that point where no matter, not a recap chapter, that's not the right word, but a time for the heroes to recuperate,
Mm-hmm.
because all of this stuff is happening, but because it's all happening in such quick succession, you don't really have time to like see any of the characters emotionally react to that,
Mm-hmm.
or how it's going to impact what's going on, because it's just like every time something happens, it's just like bam, best genus falling from the sky with fucking weapons. Like, I don't know. I need this to just slow down pretty soon, and I want to see some
Mm-hmm.
characters just have it out
Yeah,
emotionally
yeah,
instead of just having to
definitely.
worry about where the next giant punch is coming from.
Mm,
But I also
definitely,
don't see how
definitely.
they beat the giant golem man, even with Best Jeanist' help. So I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see. I mean, if Shigaraki doesn't wake up, the giant golem man is pretty much paralyzed. Because I mean, he literally cannot think for himself.
Oh, right. He doesn't do anything without Shigaraki there to tell him what to do. I thought he would
Yeah.
autopilot and just be like, I gotta protect this guy. Because didn't
Well,
he came out and fought when Kurogiri found him?
yeah, I probably he can autopilot to an extent, like, oh, I'm gonna protect him, but I don't think he has the brains to be like, I'm gonna go into like a secret location or whatnot, or I'm gonna like tactically start fighting the heroes. It's probably more like I'm holding this charred corpse and I'm waiting for it to tell me what to do. And if someone tries to touch a charred corpse, I smash them. But otherwise, goo goo gaga, where's my master? You know?
Right.
Uh,
I can see that.
yeah. One last thing I want to mention is that the entire last portion of the chapter is like 3 double spreads, and I like them, but some of them looked like Oda spreads. Not gonna lie, like or
Yikes.
they weren't looking like them, but they were approaching it. There was one that was super cluttered, and
Are
I
you
could still
talking
read it.
about the one where the Endeavor fan is talking? And he's like,
Uh,
"This is the one. There's so much destruction," and like the panels are all jumbled on top of each other. And there's
yes,
like,
that's
yeah,
one.
that one's rough. It's
Yeah, that
really rough.
Yeah, I am actually the way this is structured. I think this might get redrawn in the volume because there was a similar one in the chapters where Aizawa was still relevant, and that one got completely redrawn and like restructured in the volumes and given like proper big double spreads with big panels where you can clearly see what's happening. So I'm thinking that's probably gonna get a volume redraw because Horikoshi loves to do that. He loves doing like beta spreads and then fleshing them out in the volumes. He
Yeah,
did that
I
as
think
well
the
with
other two are
Jiro.
fine. I don't have any issue with the other two double spreads, but my
Mhm.
God, the that one is really rough. The upper right hand corner is just like a bunch of panels stacked on top of each other,
Mhm.
and they're like overlapping, and it's just characters making reaction faces that don't really necessarily need to be there at all.
Yeah.
It's rough, but the other two I think look
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, I think if I had to predict what's going to happen is that he's probably going to turn the reaction into a full-on collage that's a bit more structured, and then he'll take the Dobby prominence burn panel and make that a double spread, like its own double spread. That's what I'm like just off the dome predicting here. Um, and hey, one super cluttered chapter, one super cluttered spread every like 90 chapters is still better than one every chapter.
Oh,
Am
for
I
sure,
right, Oda?
for sure.
Yeah.
One Piece fans, we've gone so long without making them mad, and now we're doing it.
Oh my God. Hey, what can we do? They have a super good selling manga that is getting a super good anime adaptation right now. What difference does it make that we call their author a poopy stinky every week?
Yeah, well, we don't every week. That's Kishimoto, and I don't care if Naruto fans care about anything. Fuck them.
I guess. I mean, Naruto fans, I would feel bad about them if they weren't stuck in like 2007.
Yeah, I'd feel bad for them if I do kind of feel bad for them though, because they're Naruto fans. They're already suffering enough.
Oh my God. I mean, there are people who genuinely think Boruto is good, so I guess they're not suffering, they're just delusional. I'm sorry, this is so mean.
That's true. They well, that's the kind of thing that comes out. It's like Stockholm syndrome. Like after a while, you're not technically suffering anymore because your brain has tricked you into thinking that you enjoy what's happening.
Uh-huh. But oh my God, we're back at shitting on Kishimoto, aren't we?
I segued us from shitting on Oda right into Kishimoto.
Man, I think one of these days we need to make like one of these podcasts just like a therapy session where we talk out like in what ways Kishimoto has hurt us. Like, because that's what this is all trauma. This is all just trauma from caring about Naruto and getting burned.
The only good
That's
thing
all it is.
Kishimoto has ever done for me is that picture of Giorno.
Right, he
That's a
drew him for one
damn
of the
good
anniversaries.
Giorno, man.
That is it. I mean, I like Kishimoto's art style. When he's at his peak, he's really good. And I would say like later in Shippuden, he uses a lot of white space more than I like. But like end of part 1, start of Shippuden, or like part 2 as it's called in the manga, that's where I think his art is really good. And I think that's around the time where he drew Giorno as well.
See, I don't
So
hate
yeah.
white space as long as you're filling it with interesting shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's especially bad in like Boruto, where it's just every panel is either movement lines or white space. There's like no in
Mm-hmm.
between, and all that you have in it is like Naruto's doofy dad mug, like just looking at you.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
because like Bleach uses a lot of white space, especially toward the end. But the character
Mm-hmm.
designs are super like intricate and dynamic and just fucking cool looking. that I'm like, oh
Mhm.
shit, I just want that image on my wall forever. When Naruto
Mhm.
uses white space, I just look at it and I'm like, oh, there's just a ninja right there standing with the same outfit that every other ninja has on.
Can I just say that all you just made is probably the most disappointed sound I've heard you make ever since we started talking.
That's what happens when we talk about Naruto when I'm around.
Yeah, I feel that. Yeah, okay. You know what? You know what? We're gonna switch it up. I'm gonna say a nice thing about Boruto. Are you ready?
Oh god. Okay.
Th- The anime continues the like tradition of the Naruto anime of being a breeding ground for like new talented animators, and I absolutely fucking love that. Like Boruto, as Naruto was as well, is like this basically this conference of new young and foreign animators just being like brought in to do their shit and show what they're worth, and I think that's super cool. um and it's, also good for fans because they get really imaginative animation quite regularly. Like I feel like it's every month or two where it's like some Sakuga account is like, oh, Boruto next episode is going to be crazy because it's going to have like these like American and French animators on it who usually don't work in anime, but Boruto like waved them over, and I think that's super cool. Like I obviously have like a million and one issues with Boruto, but the way the anime production is handled like that, I think is just super inspiring. I don't know about the working conditions at Piero. They're probably not great, so I don't want to praise it too much, but I still think that that's a cool aspect of it.
Okay. I have nothing nice to say about Boruto, so I guess that segment is over.
Yeah, that's okay. We hit our quota once every decade.
Perfect. Everything's set.
Exactly. Uh, do we have any other jump series you want to talk about?
Mashle was pretty subdued this week. Nothing super. It was more of just kind of a "you may be at peace now" chapter.
Yeah.
Dr. Stone was
I-
pretty good, but you still have not caught up with that, so I will spare
I'm
you.
st- I'm s- I'm still 73 chapters behind, and you called me a bum.
You are a bum until you catch up. Sounds like
I
you're
guess I
73
am.
chapters away from not being a bum.
I guess I'll like put that on my YouTube channel once I catch up.
Every
Like
chapter you go, you just take down another one, like the 0 days at work without incident sign.
yeah, and then when I finally catch up, I put like one of those critic quotes you put on like video games or movie posters. It's just like in air quotes, not a bum anymore. Zenrotto 2020.
Ideal. That's the best. That's the best recommendation you can get. This man, not a bum.
Do you know Shabes?
I do not.
He's a content creator who does like he basically does like what we do here with Shonen Jump, but he does it every month or every 2 weeks with anime YouTubers and their content. And I got a seal of approval from him that I'm definitely going to plaster on my channel. That goes something like, "It was entertaining enough, and that was a video." So I'll put yours right next to that.
Excellent.
Shades is awesome, by the way. Anyone listening, go watch his stuff. It's so cool that he does like this feedback round for AniTube. It's super valuable. I mean, especially if your comment sections are filled with My Hero fans. So
Oh no.
good, yeah, good feedback is always appreciated because there's so much bad feedback around.
Yeah, I can't imagine that's a great well of interesting feedback.
Yeah, I mean, anytime I talk about MHA or Naruto, I basically have to just not look at the comments because it just turns so bad so quickly.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Hmm. Uh, we have Undead Unluck. We have that. What do you think?
This week was, I don't know, it was just a setup week.
Hmm.
I still don't find the mangaka character to be super interesting yet.
Hmm.
Um, Maybe that will change later on. I'm not sure. I guess that the whole point of the book is that Andy's been alive for fucking forever, and
Hmm.
she gets her soul put into a Pokeball
Hmm.
and thrown into a Pokeball that was once the mangaka's titty, I guess. I don't really know. She pulls it out of her
Yeah.
boobie and then sucks her into it like a Pokemon, and then chucks her into Andy's book, and now she's in the Old West.
Yeah.
And Andy was a cowboy, and it was before everything happened because there's not the one universal language anymore.
Yeah. And the Pokeball is called Soul Calibur.
Yep.
So that's a thing.
Yep.
I mean, I feel like Undead Unluck is trying to be like super random with things almost in these last couple of chapters, but I'm not getting like the Chainsaw Man vibe from it where it just kind of clicks and works, at least not yet. Right
Yeah,
now, I'm
this
just kind
is
of
just a little
confused.
chaotic. Yeah, with Chainsaw Man,
Yeah.
when Chainsaw Man does stuff that's random, the random stuff that it does is usually either very subdued or,
Hmm.
and I mean, when I say subdued, that doesn't mean it's not chaos. I mean, like, it's a Burger King chapter where he's at fucking Burger
Yeah.
King. Like, there's not a whole
Uh-huh.
lot of, like, what the fuck is going on? He's at a Burger King. And
Yeah.
then, like, or when it is really chaotic and shit's just hitting the fan, it's not really, like, out of line with the stuff that we already know. Like, even when
Mm.
Makima is going crazy and there's, like, powers everywhere, it's like, oh, I know all of these things, though. So, like, you're
Hmm.
able to piece it together. With this, it's like the past 3 chapters have all been like, hey, everything is totally different than it was, before. But also, I'm not going to explain any of it to you because I have this almighty mangaka character who seems to just know and be able to do whatever she wants at all
Hmm.
times. And so it's one of these things where, like, she constantly keeps pulling out these artifacts every 2 seconds that are like,
Hmm.
aha, this is the almightiest thing ever.
Hmm.
And I can make it do whatever I want, and it will fix all of the problems because I can draw anything and make it real. And it's
Hmm.
getting to the point where it's just becoming, I don't know. I need it to stick with one coherent point for a little while and just start going with it.
Yeah, that's what I'm feeling too. I feel like it's, as I said, it's just gotten a bit random. Like I can't really tell anymore what we're even doing. Um, and
Yeah, like
yeah,
even like, oh, we're gonna go and we're gonna find out the secrets of Andy's past, but like, why?
yeah,
Why are we doing that? Because he
yeah. It's
wants to
just
know how to be stronger, and somehow you going into this book of him in a Pokeball is gonna do it.
yeah. It's weird. It's weird. And honestly, since we're getting proto Andy now, I hope to God the sexual jokes don't come back.
Oh God, because he's pre-character growth, Andy. Oh
Yeah.
no, that would be a nightmare. I don't think
I mean,
so
he
though,
did.
because he seems like he's a pretty chivalrous fella in the
Yeah,
couple
and
panels we've seen of him.
yeah, that's true. That's the thing that's giving me hope. But oh my God, like I need the mangaka to just stay away from that because if it falls back into that, I'm straight up not gonna
The
recommend this
only,
manga anymore.
yeah, I think the reason that it probably will not fall back into that is because the only reason it was at that point before was because he specifically was trying to use her powers. And I don't think
Hmm.
this one knows about her powers. And he's
Hmm.
not like that with any other girl character, really.
That's true.
So I don't
That is
think it
true.
will come back. I hope not. If it does, I'm with you. I'm out of it. But
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't see it
because
happening. I don't think it would
yeah,
make a lot of sense to do that.
we'll just have to hope because I mean, even if it's not Andy who falls into that, the author could still like conjure that humor back up somehow. Which I live in fear of that whenever I open a Undead Unluck chapter, that it goes back to that because
Every chapter. Is this going to be the one where it finally
yeah,
happens?
it's like when I read MHA and it's like, is this the chapter where Hori really pisses me off finally? Like this entire like liberation arc, every chapter I'm like, is he gonna do something stupid? Because it's like it's a big climax chapter and there's a lot of shit you can do that'll go wrong. Like with this genus shit again, I'm like, we have a week break now, so in 2 weeks will Hori disappoint me or can I keep liking him?
Man, our viewers are really lucking out. They missed the Jujutsu Kaisen hour this time. MHA is on a break next time.
Yeah, I mean,
Two
balance.
digestible videos in a row.
Yeah, I mean, finally we're forced to talk about other shit.
Yeah, we can't just talk about those 2 series ad nauseum.
I mean, psych, we just fill it with Kishimoto slander.
True. Also, even though this was only a joke chapter, I could still talk about Satoru Gojo for another 35, 40 minutes if we have to fill some time.
Oh, dude, the joke where it's like, oh, we're making a beach chapter. You know what that means, and you turn the page and it's Toto.
Yeah, especially because Kugisaki says, so the time has finally come. And then it's just Toto sprawled out on the beach.
That is so good. Like I think this joke chapter really like cemented my idea that Akutami is probably really fun to hang out with.
Oh, for sure. I love when she goes, "We're already resorting to the muscle gag. Have we burned through all of our ideas?" And Fushiguro says,
Yes.
"We never had one. Not even one."
I love that so much. Like
Uh,
it's you can really tell that they're kind of in sync with their audience. Akutami, that is. Also, like Gojo Sensei, why are you not singing? It's like, oh, now that the anime is out, I need to like,
I need to
I
be
can't.
responsible.
Yeah, exactly. Or like, this is the time where we can do a gag chapter. So basically, you didn't fulfill your deadlines.
Yeah, so you
No.
missed your deadline.
uh, it's crazy. Gojo is the best character, even in a gag chapter.
Also, I want to point out that ever since he was sealed, this is the first time he's been on panel.
Oh my god, you're right.
Yep.
That is so weird, but also so good. I don't actually know why we took that break. I guess it's just for Akutami to take a break, or they really missed the deadline.
Yeah, one of the
I,
two. I don't know, but
yeah,
it probably was just take a break.
yeah. I
There's
mean,
so much fourth wall breaking in this that's just it's really good. All the comedy in it's good.
it's so. I mean,
Why is
Akutami
Akutami such a goat at all times?
Akutami is so cool. Do you own the volumes?
I do not. I want them really bad, but I do not own them.
Yeah, because there's so much like extra stuff by Akutami in them, and that person is so good.
I just want to
There's
point
like
out I'm sorry I'm interrupting you, but the very first page of this has a caution sign that says we're not on hiatus.
goated, absolute
Oh
goated.
my god.
But yeah, it's like the volumes as well. You get the sense that Akutami is just a really chill person who's exhausted at all times.
Uh-huh.
Because it's
Like
like,
he's just doing shit.
yeah, because it's like there's like a whole little like continuous what can I call like extra bit where they try to explain Gojo's powers and they keep going, I really don't want to explain this shit. I hate maths. Why did I write this?
Oh yeah, I think I've seen that on Twitter where it's like 3 pages of him being like, "Please don't get mad at me."
Yeah. Oh, it's so good. I think Akutami together with Horikoshi might be my favorite author going in Jump right now. It's just they're such fun people. I think Akutami is actually a woman now that I think about it. I
I
thought
have no idea. I think that that's a thing that was going around, but isn't true because people confused Akutami with uh, the Demon Slayer person. But I
oh
guess I
yeah.
don't know.
Yeah, because
I
I
feel
think
like I
people
looked it
also
up
don't.
and the pronouns are always male, but let me look it up again.
Yeah, I don't know because I remember I think Akutami drew themselves recently and it was very effeminate, so like very clearly a drawing of a woman, so I guess people went from there. I don't know. I mean,
And I mean, I
I
see people saying that she's a girl all the time, but I swear I Googled it once and it was always referred to as masculine, but
yeah, I mean,
I don't know.
I know
But
the
that's why you don't make your icon a goddamn one-eyed cat.
well, okay, all Jump mangaka have like a
I know they
weird
do, but
icon.
like, shit, come on.
I mean, Hori has the stupid Shigaraki hand with the eye in the middle.
Ah, man, come
Uh,
on. This entire article just refers to as it and they. It's not
oh
helpful at
god.
all.
Yeah, because I remember didn't Gotoge, the author for Demon Slayer, didn't they say at one point that they prefer like just they them or like neutral pronouns? So I'm
Maybe.
assuming,
I don't
yeah. I
keep
mean,
up too much with my mangaka's gender.
that's true. I mean, if I hear something, especially if I want to talk about it in a video, I do my research. But with Akutami, it really was confusing, so I just went for them for all of my Jujutsu Kaisen videos, which it's fair.
This
I think
appears to be
most
a YouTube
people.
video of Gege drawing, and that's a lady-ish looking hand. But
Mhm.
it's not. But it's. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
I
at the
don't
end of the day,
know.
I suppose it's none of our business. They write good manga, and that's really what we care about.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm doing my best. Up, up, up,
Did I lose you again?
up. You did for a minute. I think you're
Oh
back
God,
now.
what? Oh, great. Okay. I might actually leave that in so people can see the terror.
Okay, yeah, you clipped out for a second. I mean, you got that awkward silence where there's not even the hum of the open connection, but
Okay, yeah, no. As I said, the rig is new, so we're figuring everything out. But yeah, like, I think Akutami is, regardless of
okay.
gender or
So
whatever, a wonderful person.
I'm I'm googling like crazy to find an answer because obviously we have nothing else to talk about this week. And
Yeah.
the only evidence is this video of their hand.
Uh-huh.
And it's entirely up to you if you find this hand to be effeminate or not.
Okay.
I would say that could be a lady hand. Those are pretty slender fingers, but he could just be an effeminate looking guy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, like,
Also,
if you
hands are not the most. Also, this is a weird video of two white dudes in a kimono banging on a drum while they are playing a projection of Akutami drawing Gojo and Itadori. I don't really know what's
what the
going on here. Uh,
what the hell are you watching, my dude?
it's just a link that was on the Jujutsu Kaisen Reddit on a thread
Okay.
called "Is Akutami a boy or a girl?" And someone said no one knows for sure because they don't make public appearances. The only video we
Uh-huh.
have is this video of their hand. But like it
Mhm.
could just be a skinny dude. Like it's not even I don't know,
Yeah.
man. I don't know. Whatever. If they wanted us to know, they would tell us. So
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
I'm more
it's
concerned
interesting.
about what's going on in the forefront of this video of this weird drumming. It's all white people.
They got the whites as like exotics in there.
But I
But
think it's like in France or something.
oh, well then it's the French drumming, then we don't care about them.
Why did they get
No.
the video of Akutami's hand?
Well, okay, the French are like super deep into manga stuff because they actually curate the manga scene, not like other countries where it's just like, yo, nerds. So, the French tend to get really good shit all the time. I mean, they also get like the volume releases really quickly as well. They're like really quick licensing.
Yeah, but they really like One Piece over there, so
Yeah, also they're French, so it's
yeah,
like
all of it bad.
French people watching don't hate me. I'm Italian. I'm contractually obligated to hate you. That's just how it is. I'm sorry. But yeah, I mean, Horikoshi, for example, was also an author that kept themselves very hidden for a long time. But he kind of messed up because before he got famous, he was very public.
So
And
everyone
so it
just
didn't
found
really
it.
work. Yeah. I just find it funny that when you look, have you ever seen a picture of Hori?
Mm-mm.
He looks exactly like Aizawa. Like just Aizawa with glasses and a bit thinner, and that's it.
Oh yeah, he does.
Yeah, so if Aizawa is the self-insert, man, that man is tired.
I hate is a mangaka, so it probably is. Okay,
That's
so
true.
more developments on the is Akutami a man or not front. The
Yeah.
there was a fan meet and greet apparently that
Uh-huh.
Akutami attended, except they were inside of a closed box the entire time.
Oh my god.
So good luck. Jesus Christ.
Hey, them Japanese people really like the privacy, I guess.
Hey,
I
I don't
mean,
blame him,
nothing.
man.
Yeah, I mean,
Especially if you're
nothing
gonna
wrong with
make
that.
manga, people are gonna email you death threats because Momo's shirt is not quite as covering as they would like.
Oh my god. Oh, My Hero fans.
I
My
swear to
Hero
God, this
fans.
this might just be like a hallucination brought on by the trauma of having to interact with My Hero fans. But I swear to God, at one point there was a thread of them asking that the series be taken away from him and given to someone else because he's a terrible person.
Yes,
I swear
that
to God,
happened.
did that actually happen? Okay.
Yes. I
What a
have I am
group.
I am cursed with this ability to pretty much remember every single thing that ever made me angry. I'm not actually joking. That's actually a thing that I have. I remember pretty much every single tweet or comment
You
that's ever
have
upset me.
self-harm memory.
I have photographic memory, but only for shit that makes me angry. Like, it's so dumb, and that's the reason. Like, I remember all of this shit with My Hero. It's insane. I remember of course, the Bakugo person is like, oh, why is Bakugo saying this? Like, he's not talking. Um, I remember the person who like redrew all My Hero characters as like obese and hairy, and it's like, okay, fine, do that, but then please don't call Horikoshi like, what was it, like a pedophile and an imperialist bastard because he draws people.
Imperialist bastard.
Yeah,
Uh,
I remember My ISIS Academia. That might have been
uh,
before before you
that
watched it, actually.
that might be a new one for me.
Yeah, that was right around when season 2 was airing, and I was first introduced to the series, as in like the manga. I'd already watched the anime season 1, and there was this weird rumor going around that Horikoshi was an ISIS sympathizer, like completely baseless. That there was nothing to it, but that was, of course, also before official chapters were easily available. So that's like the state of information that was around at the time.
My favorite drama was still the I can't believe Horikoshi is drawing Toga being violently raped on panel.
Oh my god, that was
Based on like a yellow single panel screenshot from like a wet Korean book that someone had.
oh my god. No, it's like there's so many people in My Hero fandom are so dumb. And it's like the problem is not that they're dumb. The problem is they're so gullible and so trigger happy. And I think it might and I'm like going full 2015 here. I think it might just have to do with the fact that a lot of them are like people that migrated over from Tumblr, because that's what it feels
Maybe,
like.
yeah. They're very quick to. They want to fight. They want to fight really bad all the time.
Yeah.
And it seems like they don't really care who they fight with. They're just like throwing hands. And a lot of the time, for some reason, it's Horikoshi they're throwing him at. The guy who
Yeah.
makes the thing you're obsessed with.
Yeah, it's I remember that time when there was like a group of fans just going around googling Horikoshi's name to find any slander and then start like mass reporting and threatening them. So for a while, everyone who didn't want that happen to them was just calling the author of My Hero Academia Horizonte to avoid getting names searched.
Jesus. Like, I get
Yeah.
hating the author of something that you really like, because boy, do I hate Nobuhiro Watsuki. But I
Hmm.
feel like I'm a little more justified in it
Yeah, I mean,
than just, oh my god, he drew Uraraka in a cheerleader uniform one time.
yeah, I mean, honestly, like the worst thing Horikoshi has done is supposedly accidentally reference a war crime, which like that was a yikes, and people being upset about that was very justified. But immediate apology, immediate change, and it again, it's not that people get upset about. It's, as you said, Uraraka skirt length, which like,
Mm-hmm.
all
Or
right,
like he used to draw her chubbier, but now she's drawn the same as everyone else. And it's like, okay,
yeah,
fine.
I mean,
I'm not saying you can't be mad about that. I'm just saying, can you be mad about that within a reasonable like intensity?
yeah,
It
exactly.
seems like the My Hero wars are always like 0 to 100, like real quick. And
Oh
then
my
someone's
god,
like, "This is dumb. Can we all stop?" And then everyone stops, and it's like goes right back to
yeah,
0. Like there's no like, can we just simmer on a medium heat? Like I wish
yeah,
Uraraka was still pudgy. Like fine, I don't care. That yeah, you do you.
yeah.
But I don't know that the end result of that has to be like. I think Horikoshi is a child molester because he thinned Uraraka down, and she's only 15.
Oh my god, dude. Were you around when Hori did that when volume, I think it's volume 16 or 17, released in Japan and got like fan translated. And it's there where he says that uh I wrote Mineta based on what I think annoying people are like, and I think I'm annoying, something like along those lines, but they've mistranslated it as Mineta is my self-insert. And like, oh my, you can imagine what Twitter was like.
Oh, good God. I don't remember that specifically happening, but
Uh,
I'm sure the
and
internet loved that.
yeah, people still bring that up. It's like, oh, he self-inserted himself as a pervert. And it's like, no, no, he didn't.
No, he didn't. For the love of God,
Yeah,
please.
yeah.
For the love of
I mean,
God.
I also, I think Mineta is a bit overboard. Like, it's the one where he's like perving on Eri. That's too much, definitely. But I think Hori realized that as well, because we haven't really gotten a lot of Mineta gags after that. So I'm hoping he's realized that, hey, you kind of overshot it. That's kind of gross. So yeah, but again,
I mean, it doesn't help that Mineta is not very funny, but like,
yeah,
just like they're not very good gags. Like if they were, I guess
yeah,
it would be better. But like,
yeah.
I don't know. I think that era of like manga has just become played out and is not that funny anymore. And like, I don't know. I guess I never really found it funny, even when I was like an edgy kid. But obviously, different culture
Hmm.
or whatever.
Hmm.
I'm not gonna find everything funny that everyone else finds funny, sure. But I think as a whole, the medium has begun to move beyond the look at this weird would be in jail sex offender character. That's funny.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. Yeah, I agree. Like it's like I genuinely believe modern manga has no place for the Master Roshi trope anymore. Like we're past that. We're manga is a global medium now, and different cultures, different cultures, whatever. But it's 2020. Like, get a grip. Understand that these things are not really all that funny anymore. And I think younger mangaka have caught on to that. Like Akutami, for example, Jujutsu Kaisen has almost none of that. Like, definitely none of that, right?
I don't
I
think
can't even
there's.
think of one.
I don't even think that. I think the closest thing ever has probably been something that was not Akutami's decision. The
Well,
swimsuit page where Shonen Jump
oh
had
yeah,
every artist draw their female lead in a swimsuit. He put
oh
Nobara
yeah,
in a
yeah.
swimsuit, or he or she, they
Mhm.
put Nobara in a swimsuit on that, and I think that's the closest we've ever gotten. But that was also
Yeah,
not something she ever did in the actual series. I'm gonna keep using definitive pronouns. I'm just guessing. I'm gonna alternate every time. I'm gonna say
yeah.
he and then she and then he and then she, and then the viewers will be very
Balance,
confused.
balance.
Perfect balance.
Yeah, as all things
It's
should be.
Schrodinger's
But
gender. If you don't know, then it's all of them at the same time.
pretty much they all converge.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, yeah, like I actually really appreciate that Nobara is like not sexualized whatsoever.
Even
Like
in this joke chapter where they're like, "Oh, I can finally wear casual clothes," she's the only skin showing is like her hands and her knee and below. Not that I
yeah,
think
like
everything needs to be like puritanical, like, "Oh my god,
mhm,
having an attractive girl in your series is bad" or whatever, but like I just
mhm.
like that they don't try to sell the series at all with any of that stuff.
Yeah, it's tasteful. I really like that.
Yeah, because like I'm watching
Um,
Bleach right now with my girlfriend, and a lot of times it does get a little weird where I'm like, that character is drawn strangely, and probably should
oh
not be anymore.
yeah, I mean, as I said, I'm not very far into it, but I'm pretty sure they made like at least 30 Orihime boob jokes at this point.
Yeah, like later you just get characters that are designed and are like again love Bleach to death, but they're just like there are drawings that in a modern series that you would not have them. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Like there's at one point I'm gonna spoil something for you.
That's
Um,
okay.
it's in the very last arc, and that arc is not very good, so I'm gonna tell myself it's fine.
Uh-huh.
Um, there's a character called Yoruichi who I'm sure you know who that is just from internet fame.
Yes,
hmm
yes.
Well,
Hmm.
her ultimate attack in the very final arc is she turns herself into a Thunder Cat Girl.
Yes, I've seen that. Is it the panel with the crazy back arc?
Yes,
Oh, yeah,
and it
I've seen that.
literally her power is that she gets a tail and kitty ears made of lightning, and she
Uh-huh.
behaves like a cat.
I see.
And the Bleach has a thing where the chapter number is always in like what's happening on the panel,
Uh-huh.
and for
Yeah.
that chapter, the chapter number is tattooed onto her ass.
Tasteful.
Yes. So there's some stuff like that. Orihime is
Yeah.
actually not too bad because they don't play her up that much in comparison to a lot of the other characters. Like, if
Hmm.
have you made it to Soul Society yet?
No, no, no. I'm still in that like intro arc, like
Okay.
Monster of the Week.
So on the way to Soul Society, they meet a character named Kukaku Shiva, who is in like the tiniest pieces of cloth as her outfit, and she
I
is equally as stacked as Orihime is.
I think I might have a design in mind, but then again, I'm at the stage where like most Bleach characters still look the same to me, so I might be misthinking.
Yeah, I mean, like Bleach is weird because they don't ever even like Naruto had it too, but not as bad. Like
Hmm.
with Tsunade and all that kind of stuff, where it's not like with Jiraiya, I guess for Naruto that was really bad,
Hmm.
and Bleach doesn't have a
Hmm.
Jiraiya really, and I
Hmm.
don't think One Piece does either, but I don't know if they do. I haven't met him yet, 300 chapters in. So
Yeah,
I
I
guess
mean,
Sanji is as close as you get.
in One Piece, of course, has uh the really bad
Well,
the
yes. Okay.
transphobia
Yeah.
arc.
Well, oh, I didn't know about that. I thought you were referring to the fact that One Piece characters are stick figures with giant blow up boobies.
Oh no, no, I'm referring to the arc where like Sanji has to train by dodging horny trans women who want to like assault him.
Oh, okay. So I'm not gonna talk about One Piece anymore.
I mean, Oda's stance on these things is very it's difficult to pin down because the man is weird. Like, I also think when he was approached about his female character designs, him just saying, just deal with it and not acknowledging it at all is like, yeah, okay, you're like a 40-year-old Japanese man, but unfortunate.
Yeah, it's not great.
Yeah.
Bleach has a lot of girls that are very eye catching and not in a
Yes.
lot of clothing, but they never like. There's not like a lore character whose only job is to like molest people, Master Roshi style.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So that's something. But like,
Yeah.
it's just nice in a modern series to not have to have any of that gunk, and it obviously doesn't
Yeah.
hurt it at all.
Yeah. I mean, um, well, you mentioned Tsunade, and what I want to say to that is, after having rewatched Naruto now, I am firmly convinced Kishimoto designed Tsunade specifically with doujin artists in mind, because you have her design, and then you have the context of her character, which is this lascivious gambler who gets drunk and has to pay back her debt somehow, and it's like, mm,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I'm sure that's a coincidental mix of traits.
Mm-hmm.
That's not at
What a
all,
what a completely unrelated series of circumstances for a character to find themselves in.
yeah,
Yeah, no, it's not great. Um,
nah,
so yeah, like I said, it's like you said, even like My Hero has some stuff where I'm like, I don't know if you needed that.
yeah,
Horikoshi sometimes does a little bit of, I don't know if it's just like sexification or if it's like weird fetish insert stuff,
hmm,
but Jujutsu Kaisen seems completely free of that, which is very nice.
yeah. I think
Chainsaw Man has way too much weird fetish insert stuff.
okay. Chainsaw Man gets infinitely funnier when you read that interview with Fujimoto where he admits that he had classmates when he was in high school, female classmates that would beat him up every day, and that he thought that was hot. That explains a lot of
That
shit.
explains everything. I I know so much more about Chainsaw Man than I ever have before after learning that information.
Yeah, it's like I think there's a quote by him like, "Once they spat on me, and I thought this is heaven." It's like, woohoo.
Jesus. Okay. Yeah. No, that explains everything. But
That I mean, okay, Fujimoto has done some weird shit. I've seen the panel in like from Fire Punch, where like the two girls are asked to do stuff with dogs, which is
oh,
like, yeah,
oh. All I can think of in Chainsaw Man one is the dog thing with Makima and Denji, which was
yeah,
that felt very much like an insert. And then weirdly, this also did too, just because of how fucking specific it was
yeah,
when the drunk woman is kissing Denji and vomits in his
yeah,
mouth and he swallows it.
yeah,
I was like, that is way too specific to not have
yeah,
been something he had thought about before this,
yeah. Meanwhile, Hori just has the tickle machine.
which was not great and very
It
weird
wa-
and uncomfortable.
it was it was even weirder considering that the character exposed to it was a fan made character.
A fan made girl character in a very loose outfit.
Yeah, though apparently he made. I don't know how true this is, but I heard that the reason Bubble Girl ended up winning is because out of all of the entries, because he wanted a girl character apparently, and out of all the entries, it was one of the tamer ones. So
Really impressive.
you ask a bunch of 16-year-old guys to draw a female character they want to see in their manga.
I guess that's true.
Yeah, I mean, I do think it's super cool that he included two fan-made characters in the series, Bubble Girl and Centipede Man, which like that's cool. I mean, putting her in the tickle machine for a first appearance is kind of odd, but
A little bit. Maybe we just don't have that at all in the whole series. We don't have a weird fetish machine, and then we're all fine. But
yeah, I mean,
not my series, so I
my
won't.
mangaka.
I won't presume to enforce rules on weird tickle torture machines.
Yeah, but I mean,
But you could just not have it also, though, in your series about superheroes.
crazy ideas then.
I'm just throwing it out that you could just not do it, and I don't think anyone would be like, man, you know what this series needs to really go above and beyond is a weird fetish insert from this dude.
Dude, you should really pitch that. I want to see Zenrotto versus Horikoshi on the marketplace of ideas.
About whether or not it's good to insert fetish machinery into your series aimed
Yes.
at teenagers.
Yes. Horikoshi goes like full Ben Shapiro on it.
Let's just say, okay, that you need a device like this to properly run a successful hero agency. Because otherwise, okay, let's just say that the stress would be too much.
Like I don't know why we're like focusing so much on this when like the thing that everyone keeps bringing up is of course Momo, right? And her character design, which is like I guess, but at the same time it is informed by her quirk, but then at the same time her quirk is also written by Horikoshi.
He made
so it's
it,
like,
right, yeah.
yeah.
The thing with Momo, I think, for me, is that she is drawn frequently enough in other outfits that are not her hero uniform, and she's dressed relatively conservatively during. You know, she's in like the pants and the sweater or the school uniform, which is not particularly bad by the standards set by other school uniforms in series. That it doesn't bother me as much, I guess. Because that hero uniform could definitely use some work. It's not great.
Yeah,
It's not like offensive, but it's not great.
Yeah, it's kind of. Did you play it? Wait, I need to start earlier with this question. Are you into the Metal Gear series?
Very little.
Have you played 5?
No.
Okay, I'm gonna spoil it for
I don't
one
care.
character. For you. Okay,
you may spoil away.
There's a character in it that is called Quiet that is pretty much almost completely naked, and she just has like a bikini on at all times. And when the first trailers came up, people were like, "Hey, what the fuck's this about?" And Kojima's response was, "Oh, wait until you play the game. You'll find out why she dresses like that, and it'll shock you." And the reason is literally because she cannot breathe through her lungs, and the way she has to breathe is by doing photosynthesis with her skin. That's kind of what the Momo thing feels like. It's like, yeah, it's an explanation, but you're the one who made up the problem.
You still made it, yeah.
Yeah.
It's still a problem you created for this character to have.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's like,
that's not great.
Yeah, it's like one of those, because the other obviously very sexualized character is Midnight, but there I like her presence in the story because it's like you have this hero who went out and decided, hey, sex sells, so I'm going to use sex appeal to become famous. And it's like, that's fine by me. I think in a society like my hero,
Midnight and Mount Lady does as well.
Yeah.
But like the thing with them is, one, they're fully grown adults, do whatever the hell you want, and two, it would be silly to think there wouldn't be that aspect of it in a society with superpowers, right? Like that.
Yeah.
That's almost like a realism thing. Like, of course, there's going to be some of that shit. Like,
yeah.
You can't avoid it. It's just as much more stark when it's the high school kid.
Yeah, and it's just that also Momo seems to be like super oblivious to it as well. Like she doesn't seem to really care about her outfit, which is like, on one hand, I suppose it removes her from the sexualization aspect, but on the other hand, it puts her back into that unaware, super sexy, out there girl who like just so happens to have her tits out all the time. Like, ooh, oh no, that's my nipple. There it goes.
Yeah, there was one. Was it in the? I think it was when they were the heroes. I'm like stumbling. When the villains were invading USJ, and I think she has a scene where she literally just like turns around and pulls her boobies out and just starts making things.
No, I think that's actually it's embarrassing that I know this. It's in the summer exam arc. where she's with Todoroki, and he like turns to her to ask her something, and you
No,
see she
that
just
that
has like the
too.
boobs out.
There is that one too. But there's
Oh,
one in. I'm 90% sure it's in USJ. I think it's Jiro who's with her.
oh, right, and like her top bursts open, and Jira has to cover up her nipples with her
Yes.
earphone jack. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's but that's like one of those things where it's like in the first 30 chapters of a series when he's still very much trying not to get canceled. So like you know, better this than the Undead Unluck route, but
Yes, yes. Deku didn't chase Uraraka down an alleyway to rape her in the first chapter, so that was good.
that's oh my god, that's it's also like so weird. Like, and we're kind of going full circle now on the fandom. It's the fandom has so many weird headcanons when it comes to how do I even put this? There's this weird headcanon around basically that Endeavor raped his wife, and it's like,
Clearly not.
well, especially now, but even before, it's like that's a very heavy assumption to make based on kind of nothing. It's like, of course, bad behavior in a marriage is there, but hitting someone and sexual violence are still a different thing, and it's I don't know. It's always made me uncomfortable how easy people jump to that. It's like,
I don't want to slander an entire group of people, but we've been doing it this entire time, so I'm going to go ahead and do it. My Hero fans are really quick to want to try to find like sexual impropriety.
yes,
That's like their
yes,
go-to. Because that
yes,
just pulls me back to the Toga thing, where it's like she's
yeah,
laying on the ground because she got the shit beat out of her. She's like barely conscious, and someone has his hands on her neck, and they're like, "Oh my god, she's being raped." And it's like, what?
yeah,
How did you possibly come to that conclusion based
yeah,
on
yeah,
someone trying to strangle her?
yeah, and an offshoot of that is also the rampant like homophobia in the fandom. Like
Oh
one
yeah, like the
specific
violent refusal to accept that Kirishima and Bakugo have a good
could be gay.
relationship with one another, and
Yeah,
therefore could be potentially gay. Yeah.
yeah. I mean that, and I remember one specific thing where like someone edited a screenshot to make it like Deku and Todoroki like holding hands. And there was this one, like, I think it's a Pokemon YouTuber, I don't even remember his name, who made like a huge thread about how this is disgusting, and he cannot believe that My Hero fans are at it again. And it's like,
I think I
dude,
remember this. That
yeah,
sounds very familiar.
like, dude, they're holding hands. Like, why are you so offended by
It's
them
weird too
holding
because
hands?
holding hands is not necessarily only a sign of like sexual affection. Like
Yeah,
you
yeah,
can just do that. Like if you're scared or something, someone
yeah.
can help you out and grab your hand. Like
Yeah. There's just so much weird, like,
it's a soothing
pent.
gesture more than anything.
Yeah, there's so much weird, like, pent up, like, toxic masculinity and homophobia into My Hero fandom. It's actually kind of crazy. And it's crazy how frequently it jumps out. Of course, it also frequently jumps out because there's also a lot of shipping going on,
Well,
which,
yeah, it is a very Tumblrite fandom. There's a lot of that kind of stuff in it. I think the
yeah.
only thing with Jujutsu Kaisen I've seen is people say that Gojo is creeping on Itadori.
Oh, yeah, that he's grooming him.
Yeah, I saw that one, and I was like, for God's sake,
I
like,
mean,
let's
it's
not.
the internet.
Yeah,
It's the internet. You know, these words have kind of lost all meaning.
yeah, they really have. It's any like I don't know, but it doesn't happen very often in Jujutsu Kaisen, which is nice.
Yeah. I mean,
Jujutsu
Jujutsu Kaisen is
Kaisen criticism is just people being like, I don't understand how you can have multi-dimensional characters in an anime. That makes no sense. This shit sucks. So
yeah, I
if
mean,
the criticism you have for it is that it's well written, I suppose that's fine.
yeah, I mean, Jujutsu Kaisen also really doesn't really lend itself to shipping all that much, so like that entire angle kind of completely falls off. Like there is still some weird shit. I've seen people ship Megumi with his dad,
Yeah, I've
which is
kind of
like
learned that shipping doesn't really require any help from the series itself.
that's also
I
true.
think it's just the willpower of the person making the decision.
Oh my god, I cannot like. Oh, and I'm running the risk of offending like the 5 people who are still watching. I cannot stand like that stan girl energy. You know what I mean? Like those
Yes.
accounts where you can tell they read series because they want to see, they want to get like panels of people hugging and being shippable. Like I know a couple of people like that on Twitter, and it's like, oh my god, like focus on anything else, please.
I
Like
mean,
you
I
do
get
you,
it to
but
an extent. Like, if Akutami just showed up one day and just like handed me a panel of Yuji and Nobara hugging, I'd be like, oh, ah. But like,
yeah,
yeah, there's a way to go too far with it, and it seems, as
yeah,
is the internet's tradition, that's all they do, is go too
yeah,
far with it in any capacity.
yeah. I mean, I saw today again. There was one where like someone was like, um, "Attention, all Dobby Hawks shippers! Your ship is officially problematic because Dobby exposed Hawks' past without his consent."
But not the burning him to near death thing.
No, that was fine. You see, that's tsundere.
Okay. He did try to kill him several times, but no, I get it.
No, that, that's
He was just
playful.
hiding his feelings.
That's playful, you know. Oh my god.
Okay, so we should probably stop soon because we've been talking about this for half an hour, but I wanted to say one more thing
Uh-huh.
on the topic, especially about My Hero. Does it strike you as weird that the people who constantly go at Horikoshi's throat and call him like a pedophile and a monster and all this kind of stuff about the character
Mhm.
designs are also the ones creating the weird sexual ships of children?
No, it doesn't strike me as weird because the internet is a place of hypocrisy.
I guess so. It just seems so odd to me that every time you see someone being like, I can't believe he drew Momo this way, and like clearly he's at home just getting himself off to these pictures of her, and then like you
Mhm.
scroll down and it's like a fan art retweet of Bakugo nailing Deku, and it's like, come on, what is this?
Yeah, I mean that's another thing that makes me feel really mean because at the end of the day, let's be real. Most of the people we're talking about are children themselves. Um,
I guess
but
so, but
yeah, but at the same time, it's like I've seen so many cases exactly like you described, where someone calls not just Torkosh, but any author out on like something quote unquote problematic, and then you go on their account, and it's all just like retweets of really, also sometimes really nasty sexual fanfics of in the end minors, and it's like, how can you care so much about like um fictional problems on one end, but then completely ignore the ones you seem to get off to. You know, it's and the answer is of
it's
course, people are hypocritical. So
yeah, I don't. It's just like it's very frustrating and weird, and that corner of the internet would be nice if it stopped talking.
yeah,
Or
but it
talk only
never
to each
will.
other, one of the two. I don't care if you talk to each other, just don't talk to me. Just don't get on my timeline.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, hey, you know what? At the very least, we have not yet reached critical mass like the Black Clover fandom, which petitioned to have Noelle get raped in a chapter.
Hang on, what?
Yeah,
Petitioned
yeah, there was,
two?
as in like,
As
there
in,
was a
please sign
comment.
this petition so it will happen?
Yeah, pretty much.
What the
What
fuck is
happened
going
is
on?
this was like a year and a half ago. There was one guy, like, do you see those like weekly tweets where people are like, oh my god, Black Clover is the berserk of shonen
No,
because he has
because
the
that's the
sword?
dumbest shit I've ever seen in my entire life, but
Well,
sure.
I've seen it a bunch of times, and there was one time where someone was like, bet I can't wait until Noelle gets raped. And I'm still not sure if that was genuine or whatever, but then someone actually took it seriously and was like, hey, that would actually be a cool development. Let's have this happen. And I think they started like I don't think they started like an actual petition, but they started like, hey, like this, retweet this if you think Noelle should get raped in a couple of chapters, and we'll see if we can make it happen. It's like, buddy, where do we even start?
Oh,
Yeah, that's.
that's Hmm. So
Do we want
anyway,
to?
I'm gonna keep not reading that shit, and
Yeah. Do we want to have like one more like reasonable topic before we stop for tonight?
yeah, no, let's
Let's have something happy.
hang on, I need a drink.
Wait, same actually. Let me refresh. God, telling you this
Fucking
right now, I think I've sweated more than I have in the last 3 hours because that is
yeah,
so uncomfortable.
I'm not feeling so great after
Mm.
that one.
Ugh.
Okay, so let's talk about the revitalization of old series by their current mangaka. or comeback series. Let's talk about that. So we were getting a lot of that lately. We've got Build King now from Toriko
Mhm.
Mangaka. We had I'm gonna not bring up the Kenshin one because that ended for very obvious reasons.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Uh, then we have Samurai 8. We have Burn the Witch. I guess we can include Boruto and Dragon Ball Super in that if you really want to.
Mhm.
But anyway, what are your thoughts on the resurgence of a lot of these guys?
It's kind of twofold. On one hand, I really like that they're kind of getting their second win because I think it's always tragic when an author is only defined by one of their works. I just wish more of them were actually good, you know?
It does
'Cause
strike me as a little weird. Now, if you take out Boruto and Dragon Ball Super because they're not really comeback series, they're basically just the exact same shit with a slightly different twinge on it.
uh-huh.
Um, and you distill it down to Burn the Witch, Samurai 8, and Bill King, I guess right now are like the three
Mhm.
big ones. I don't think
Mhm.
they're bad. Samurai 8 sucks, but I think Burn the Witch is
Mhm.
good, and I think Bill King is good. I think Bill King is
Mhm.
probably the best of the three so far,
Mhm.
anyway. It's just based off the one shot in the chapter.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
um, I don't hate him. I don't know. I don't want to go back onto the subject of Kishimoto again because we already had our time today.
Uh-huh.
Um,
Yeah. Scheduled.
yeah, I don't hate him. I know some people think that Burn the Witch probably should be disqualified because it's quote unquote a Bleach spinoff, but like there was Soul Society was written on one page for one like panel. Shut up. It's a totally different thing.
Mhm. Mhm.
I like it. I think that I think it's more apparent in Build King than anything else. But I think that when you have these older guys that are coming back into a newer field, like
Mhm.
like like we were talking about earlier, how like Jujutsu Kaisen doesn't include any of that kind of stuff, or like how in 2020 you have to do things a little bit differently. Um,
Mhm.
they can't come back and necessarily play to the same field they played to before. And
Mhm.
maybe that's part of why Samurai 8 just went belly up immediately. Is it was basically just like my samurai path of goodness to be
Yeah.
the number one. Like it was Naruto again. And I'm sure Samurai
Mhm.
8 fans will tell me how dare it was nothing like Naruto or whatever. But like
Mhm.
on paper to me, when I read that, I was like, holy shit, this is Naruto, but not as
Mhm.
good and an
Mhm.
absolute cluster to read and look at.
Mhm.
Um, with Build King, I think it's got a really good sort of Toriko vibe to it. The art's the same. Shima's monster design is out of this world still. They're all so cool looking and unique and fun. Even the little one-off monsters you see down there, like the crazy looking tigers and lions and stuff. Like I love that kind of stuff. But at the same
Mhm.
time, it feels like he's bringing it to a newer place. He's not approaching the main character or any of the characters in Bill King exactly the same way he approached Toriko, because Toriko
Mhm.
was kind of written back in a time where having the all-powerful MC was like kind of normal, or
Mhm.
if not normal, it was like nowadays people wouldn't really love it.
Mhm.
Like you don't really see anyone. Even on the topic of something like Dragon Ball, people would be like, "Oh, it's just not interesting because Goku's already, Goku."
Mhm.
And Toriko was kind of the same thing for some people, where like Toriko just showed up and rocked house, and that was that. And there wasn't a huge amount of threat, which I think is not true because I've actually read it instead of reading 15 chapters of it and then complaining about it on Twitter.
Mhm.
But I think that they're approaching Build King in a different way that I like, that feels more modern with still having some of that classic stuff. I'm probably not explaining myself very well, but like I like when these kind of older creators come back into a field of these younger people, and then they're creating something that needs to feel new but still carries that classic feel to it.
Mhm.
Like looking at both Burn the Witch, and maybe it's because I don't think Kishimoto drew Samurai 8. Am I correct in that?
I think he didn't draw it. I think it
I think
was
he was only
one of
the
his other
author.
assistants.
Yeah, and
Yes.
someone else drew it for him. So maybe that's why Samurai 8 was off-putting early on and these two have not been. Because you get a
Mhm.
real sense of familiarity, and like it makes you feel good when you're reading, Burn the Witch and Build King, and you're like, this is what I remember. Like this is the kind of world that like I read before, but it's its own thing. Burn the Witch is weirdly going in the opposite direction of Bleach when it comes to characters being like pretty and ladies, and that's like the big thing of Burn the Witch is that they're pretty ladies. Um,
Mhm.
So I guess I don't know how modernized they're necessarily getting with it. And with Build King, it's hard to say for sure where it's going to end up going, because it's the first chapter, and the first chapter is not really directly related to the one shot very much. So if you haven't read the one shot, you still should, but pretty much nothing from it made it into the first chapter.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah, it's pretty much entirely its own thing. So I don't know. Like I like Shima despite all of the drama. You know, I guess for those of you who don't know, there was legal drama with Shima, that the exact same legal drama you're thinking of, because it happens to every mangaka for some reason. Every time one of them gets in trouble, that's what it is.
Yeah.
But charges were dropped or whatever for reasons that nobody knows, and he's making a series again. You are welcome to be mad about it. I'm just going to read it. I just want to read it. I don't really want to talk about it. I just want to read it.
Shima is weird because it's like his thing happened right around the time. Didn't it happen right around the time where like laws changed in Japan, and that's how he got off? I don't remember, but it was something like that.
No, I know that there's no like confirmed reason as to why he got off. Nobody really knows. There's a bunch of theories. Nobody knows for sure.
Yeah, the thing with Shima is, of course, that if you wanted to be mad about it, you should have been mad about it in 2008 when Toriko started, because Toriko started after that drama.
Yes.
So it's just, I think the timing is really weird because we just, of course, just came off the heels of Act Age.
The Act Age thing, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like,
I will say the Act Age thing was probably the worst of any of the issues anyone's had. But
yeah, it's just that I mean, Act Age was like what, 5 months ago at this point?
It's been a while.
4 months.
Yeah, it was like early or pre-COVID.
Yeah, around that time, and it's like, I suppose it's not too long, but it feels too soon almost. That's why I wasn't super celebratory when I heard about Shima being back, just because I felt like, come on, Shueisha, like,
yeah,
you erased. They erased Act Age off the face of the earth pretty much, but again, with Shima, it's all of it happened before he had his other successful series.
Right,
so.
like it happened before Shima even existed, and I don't know that necessarily makes it better, but it's so, I don't know. The point is, I know about it. He knows about it. We all know about it. You are welcome to be as mad about it in any degree that you want, and I don't think you're wrong for that, but I'm gonna read it.
Yeah,
I guess is the take from this. You know, I'm talking to you over a computer made in some lab by a 7-year-old in another country, using my smartphone made by that 7-year-old's brother in some underground lab in another country. Like, I don't have time to be angry about the source of every single thing that I use that brings me a measure of daily peace. So I'm just gonna read it.
Yeah, you know, just no ethical consumption under capitalism.
Correct. We're going full commie on this thing, okay? My leftist Twitter has now officially leaked into the show.
You fool. This was a political podcast.
This was all a political stunt all along. There is no ethical consumption under capitalism, so I am going to read it like Build King.
It's like in JoJo when like the villain reveals their stand's actual ability. You fool.
I got hit with the arrow. The whole show got hit with a second arrow. It's now Shonen and Chill Requiem, and we are a left-leaning idea podcast about how consuming manga also falls under the blanket of there is no ethical consumption under capitalism.
You know what? I'm gonna DM Bernie Sanders later and see if he wants to come on.
I would love to get Bernie's take on Build the Witch. Or I was gonna say Build the Witch on Burn the Witch. I would love to get Bernie's take on Burn the Witch and how he feels about Jujutsu Kaisen's Shibuya arc.
Just Gojo fella.
I gotta tell you, you know, there is absolutely no problem, even in a world with Satoru Gojo, where you cannot have Medicare for all Americans.
You know, Gojo would definitely support Medicare for all.
Absolutely, he would. If we had Medicare for all, I would not be so worried about Nobara not getting up after that injury, because I'd be like, the doctor's free.
It's like every week from now on, every time something happens in the manga, it's like someone gets injured. This wouldn't have happened with Medicare for all.
If they had Medicare for all, this wouldn't even be dramatic. We all know they'd be going and they'd be getting quick free service.
It's like, man, it really surprised me this week when Mahito turned to the camera and to the metaphorical camera and said, "Did you know that fascism fucking sucks?" Like, really brave choice by Akutami there.
This just the next arc. Fucking the brain inside of Getz's head shows up with the "Make America Great Again" hat on.
No, it's like, that panel where Ghetto is like removing his skull cap, right? Instead of a brain inside, it's just a MAGA hat.
He's got the creepy smile. It's just the MAGA hat.
I have a thumbnail.
Oh god.
Oh, this is so terrible, isn't it?
The prison realm is just colored like the American flag.
Oh god. Oh.
He puts Gojo in the prison realm and calls him Antifa.
I can't wait for like the 4th special grade sorcerer to be revealed as to be Joe Biden.
Yuta comes back and he's like, "I brought help," and it's Joe Biden.
Oh my god, I just realized something. Couldn't we get, what's her name? AOC? The gaming politician?
The gaming queen politician?
Oh my god, we should get her on this.
Yeah, would you like to talk about politics to our 900 viewers that just want to talk about cartoons?
Would you like to talk about cartoons and politics?
Hey AOC, I need you to read all 130 chapters of Jujutsu Kaisen, and I need you to find an allegory in here.
I mean, all these politicians probably read the Constitution, right?
Questionable in America.
Okay, that's also fair. That's a good point. I don't know. I think I'll at her later. I'll get blocked. But, I mean, I'm not American, so it doesn't really matter.
That's okay. I've at Trump 3 different times asking him to read Dr. Stone, and he hasn't gotten back to me yet, so.
Yeah. I think I added him once because I remember I think I was advocating for Black Clover to get canceled.
I think I also added Obama once, asking him to read Dr. Stone. He did not do it either, so I'm 0 for 4 on presidential Dr. Stone recommendations.
That's insane. Like, all these politicians really do not represent the little man, do
I know.
they?
I'm saying, dude, these politicians think they're so much better than us. They really don't represent the common man. They won't even read Dr. Stone.
Like, that's why you should vote me for president.
I'm gonna have to add Biden tonight and ask him if he's read Jujutsu Kaisen.
At Biden, can we get presidential confirmation that One Piece fucking stinks?
What is your policy on your first days in office of signing an executive order to require One Piece to be concluded by 1,000 chapters?
Oh my god. We really turned this ship around, didn't we?
Yeah, I like how for like 2 seconds I was like, I really like it when old mangaka come back because they have to compete with the new, but they bring some of the old. And now we're talking about Maga Ghetto. It's because we didn't get to talk about Jujutsu Kaisen this week. We had to roll it back to Jujutsu somehow.
Yeah, even if it means calling Ghetto a trumper.
It's funny every time I think about it that he's just a trumper.
I mean, that, like, in general, I think, like, thinking about manga characters like political beliefs is so fucking funny. Like, were you there when Jump Force released and everyone was saying that Deku probably votes for Trump?
No.
because he called because he's
because
like,
he
oh
was
no,
racist against Piccolo.
yes,
He called him a villain.
yeah. And there was like this comic where it's like, I'm not racist. One of my best friends is an alien, and he shows Mina. Oh my god.
Oh my god, Endeavor would totally be a Trumper though. Back before he had his
Oh.
character development.
I actually just when I made a video where I calculated the age of All Might and the one of Endeavor, and my conclusion was that All Might is the why are you black age of Boomer. Meanwhile, Endeavor is the why are you gay age of Boomer. Like that's the level. That's a generational shift right there.
Oh god.
Oh my god, like local manga podcast calls out President Donald Trump. How will he respond?
Oh god. We're gonna get
It is
tagged.
all
We're gonna
lies.
get tagged on Twitter, and he's gonna be like, low ratings, sad.
Why is Fox News not talking about this?
Just another example of how the lamestream media is biased against me. I haven't seen a single news outlet talk about this show. Oh god.
I don't know what a ghetto is, but I'm sure he's a reasonable man. Very reasonable, just like me. Oh my god.
Just, oh my god, the thought of him pulling that skull cap off and it's just to make America great again hat is the funniest shit I've heard in a really long time.
His domain expansion is just like a wall.
No, that's what they did in the fucking exam arc when they kept Gojo out.
Oh yeah.
That's the wall.
You see, he thought his name was pronounced Gojo.
And then the prison realm is just an ICE detention center.
Oh god. Now we're really getting into spicy territory, aren't we? Oof. My god. Yuji, quick. Yuji, quick, use the Black Lives Matter flash to dismantle fascism.
Die.
Oh my god. I'm sorry, these are like really serious topics, and we don't want to make fun of them.
Mahito is in Shibuya, and they're arguing over whether or not it's a protest or a riot.
Oh my god. Oh, dude. Jogo is definitely a cop.
For sure.
He's old and doesn't care about other people's problems. He definitely supports cops.
Blue Lives Matter. That's it. We always thought he meant that cursed spirits should be humans, but he actually meant cops.
Oh my god, do you think we have finally scared off like the last right-wing watching person?
I can't imagine we had many unless they just don't know who I am because they all hate me already.
Yeah, but it's like the anime community is weirdly right-wing.
Yeah, well, I think it's a specific demographic thing. I could go on for ages about how the anime community fits the exact ideal demographic to be like awkwardly indoctrinated into this kind of stuff, but nobody needs that.
Of course. Yeah. Okay. So just to sum it up, fuck Trump. Black Lives Matter. There we go.
Yeah.
Now we have it on the table.
There you go. Views plummet.
It actually was just a political podcast in disguise all along.
Got him. We got you to episode 6.
Every week I was here and my fingers were itching. Did you make that?
Yes.
Oh, I'm so using that for a thumbnail. Oh, that's perfect. You did my job for me.
The look on his face.
Like, the best part about it is that it implies his skull cavity is empty, which is exactly right.
I know, that's the best part. There's nothing in there but the fucking hat.
And that's where he keeps his spare hat in case his main hat gets damaged.
Well, that's just, the hat's just his brain. That's all he's got.
Oh my
Oh my god, I'm dying.
All right. Do we want to end it here? I think
Yeah, probably. We've been going for 2 hours and we only had 45 minutes of real content.
Yeah, the rest was just biting political commentary at the bleeding edge of social discourse.
Oh, I'm crying.
Same. I'm so sweaty.
Oh my god, the Black Lives Matter flash fucking destroyed me.
As it did Mahito.
Mahito was like, "Don't kneel at sporting events." And then Yuji hit him with the Black Lives Matter flash.
Oh no. Oh my god. Anyway. Oh, all right. I'm
so glad this one's not going up on my channel.
Oh shit, this is going up on my channel.
This is yours?
Oh my god. Did I ever tell you about that one really long rant I received because in one video I say the word asshole and like flash a picture of Trump for like half a second.
Oh god.
And someone was like super offended by it. And it's like, how do you folks keep finding me?
There's so many anime people who are just in that brainwash sphere.
I think when I made my Dr. Stone video, actually, I flashed a screenshot of that article about what state was it? Was it one of your states that was trying to ban abortion completely?
Anything below the middle of the country could be accurate.
Okay, yeah, there was something like that going on.
I think it's Georgia, but I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, I flashed an article about that, while talking about like, oh, you know, people do stupid things and we do inhumane things, and I got like a long comment like how abortion is evil. It's like, come on, man. I'm just trying to talk about the anime.
Just trying to make some jokes and do a little anime.
Don't do me like that. Come on. Okay, do we have any final words before I inevitably destroy our careers by uploading this?
Shonen Jump is good. Read it.
It is. Shonen Jump is good. Read it. Yeah. I hope you had fun. We'll be back next week with no My Hero, but Jujutsu Kaisen again, so maybe we will not veer off into...
Yeah, I think not having Jujutsu Kaisen to talk about this really fucked us over. Our brains were like, no, we have to talk about Jujutsu Kaisen.
It's like, wait, Jujutsu Kaisen's on break? Anyway, here's how Gojo destroys capitalism.
Did you know Satoru Gojo is a bread tuber?
Fun fact about Satoru Gojo, he thinks fascists are evil. You know, do you think the Limitless can like dismantle imperialism?
I think Purple can.
Purple literally can dismantle everything.
We're
going again, dude.
Hey, it's your channel. You say the ending whenever you want.
Okay. Thank you everyone for watching. I hope you had fun. See you next week over on Zen's channel. Stay healthy, stay safe, wash your hands, and that's it from my part.
Wear a mask in public.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.